Hey everyone, we need to talk. Welcome back to Camel Talks. Today we're going to talk about evidence and sources in the internet. Well, we're going to talk about why I think it's a big issue and why we have to do something against it. So we're going to start right away with the background of today's video and why I'm going to do this. Then we are going to jump into a little template I made, which will be the basis and the foundation for this channel in the future, for how I will deal with sources and give you the information. And then we will talk about the kind of in a future outlook and how things will hopefully evolve in the future according to what we're going to talk about. So starting with the background, it's rather simple to explain, to be honest, because when I did start my master thesis years ago, I really wanted to include a lot of YouTube videos as kind of sources and evidence. And I used YouTube for a very good generic research, and I found a lot of great sources. Well, but there was a big problem. Many of the videos that do have sources, they mostly look like that. They just look like this. They just look like links everywhere, you know? There's not that much you can get out of it. And there is a little bit of a problem. Most videos give actually evidence to what they state. The problem is you have a hard time finding out what they say. Now, by the fact that they only post the links down in the description, you kind of can follow what they said and where they said it and why they said it. But the problem is, it is a lot of time that you have to invest to find all these sources, and then you have to jump forth and back between the video to find the dedicated spot in the video or whatnot. So it's a rather finicky thing to do. It's tedious, it's time consuming, and well, you rather don't do this, okay? But I think it's very important, especially in times of fake news and especially of times of conspiracy theories. I think it is very important that people learn how to find out about the sources and the background knowledge that was used to create a certain video. Now, hear me out. I'm talking about most of the scientific videos giving facts and stuff. I'm not talking about gaming videos where you speak about various things. I'm not speaking about influencer videos that are like vlogs or something else. You know, these kind of videos don't really need it. But there are so many great videos on the internet about stuff like science, about rockets, about stuff like this. And I recently got a lot into SpaceX and the development of the Starship, and I actually watched a lot of videos explaining how the engines work, how the whole system works, or why they do a certain thing and why they don't, and why they use liquid methane and stuff like that. You know, a lot of things that I learned through these videos. Now, I made this just for curiosity reasons, but if I would be to write a thesis about this, or like a scientific work, I actually would have had a little bit of a big issue for most of the videos, because they were only dropping the links they used as an evidence for the videos. They didn't even give me a kind of idea of what the link is for. So what you're going to do, as I said kind of a few minutes ago, you just open all the links given to you. Now, and this is kind of a problem. See, even if I do this just out of curiosity, and there's one thing in the video I might have not gotten correctly in the first glance, you know, and I just want to investigate a little bit more, let's say, to stick with the example of SpaceX, into the Raptor engines, because I haven't really gotten the clue of how exactly they work, let's say. So I just only want to know about the Raptor engine. Everything else in the video was pretty clear, so I just want to know about the Raptor engine. It would be great to have a way to find this, right? Just to go down the description, click on something, and it just gives me immediately the link to the Raptor engine. Now, mostly that's not given, and I think, and this is something we are going to talk about later on in the outlook, I think that's the thing the platform should actually already have integrated, but that's something we talk about later. I really find that, and to branch out a little bit from YouTube, I think it's also a problem in most of the social medias, especially now during times of the pandemic. I saw a lot of things, even from official German news media, that they did a lot of things very weird and wrong, in my opinion. The way they presented data was sometimes good, sometimes not so good, and sometimes absolutely bad. And they were even feeding into the conspiracy theories by not giving evidence correctly or in a absolutely weird way. So here's an example. What they did, they gave some numbers about the total new amount of infected people. They gave a new number of the total amount of people vaccinated, and then they drew a comparison that everything is going into the good direction. However, what they didn't say is that during this period of time, the number of vaccine people was only counting the first vaccination. Is that even the word in English? Anyway, the first time, and people have to be vaccinated 2 times. Now, this would only mean half the people, if you will. And then on the other hand side, and this is the other problem, they didn't set the number of new infected people in comparison to the number of people tested. And during this week, due to some issues in major test environments or whatever, the number of tests were like 20% less. So the numbers were not really fair to compare. And it's fine to still show these numbers, but you have to give always a context to the data you provide. So otherwise, you are making people taking these numbers out of context because you didn't provide the context. So how are they, people are clever, especially these people building conspiracy theories. They are most likely very clever people, and they know how to manipulate data if you let them do this. And by not giving the right evidence or no evidence at all, they can use this as kind of an evidence for them if they do it in a clever way. Okay, so this out of the way, I think it is very important to not only think about to give and provide evidence and sources, it is also about the how you provide them. And this leads me to the next point. I hate, and I honestly say that I'm a big fan of simplicity, but I hate these ways of quoting in the major exams or in the major styles of writing theses, like Oxford, Harvard style. I just totally hate that. I hate the thing is, for those of you who don't know, maybe younger people watch the video, maybe other people who have no clue about these scientific works, but you most likely have to give the evidence exactly where you take evidence and where you take an example or a quote or whatever. And as much as I love the fact that it is very precise and you go in, it totally drags you out of the flow, okay? So if I'm reading like a very nicely written thesis about a topic, for me personally, to read it in one glance and have a good understanding is equally important to find the evidence, because I have to first of all understand the topic before I can really go into the evidence to check them. Because I don't know what I'm really reading there or what I'm listening to, then for me it's pretty much hard to understand if the evidence given are good or not. I can't really judge them because I don't understand enough about the topic. Now, if I do have a little number next to a word or something in brackets in every second line after every fourth word, this completely distracts me from understanding what this whole fuzz is about. I'm going to include an example of a heavily quoted text or whatever, and you see what I'm meaning. It is really, if you look at that, I think I'm putting that like somewhere here. If you look at that, you just see millions of little bubbles overall, and there are the two major ways of putting the evidence right in the brackets or as a little note to the bottom of the page, and then giving a little number or whatever sign you use to give the evidence in the text to draw the comparison. Now, I mean, I get that the putting it in brackets is even closer to what you say, and you don't need to jump up and down in the page, but then again, it kind of destroys the text, whereas the other way doesn't really destroy the text, but many people put like a whole bunch of shit down there in the description and or in the bottom part of the site, so that is just kind of as annoying, to be honest. And so I really came to the conclusion that there is another way of doing it. It has to be another way of doing it for the modern era. And don't get me wrong, I think there is a reason why especially written exams and written scientific works for decades use the same technique, and why it has become a standard. I think mostly it is very good to do this when it has to be that accurate, okay? But I'm speaking more about the content online, the fast spreading content. You don't have the time and you don't have the patience to go that deep into the stuff as professors do for your final thesis. They take literally weeks to double check on your sources, and that's a completely different scenario and context to really understand what's going on. So it, like, just by thinking about it, there can't be the same way of doing that in an online environment, because there is not the same basic environment given to do that. You just don't have the foundation. So what I have done is I've created a new template. I'm calling it new, but I have done this, and I've done this, for a while now. I switched a lot of things around, and very important now, this is up to discussion. I really want to have your feedback in the comment section down below. You have to give me feedback. Maybe you have some improvements, maybe you don't, I don't know. But we're going to talk about, I'm just putting that on the screen right now for you. And excuse me if I look a little bit to the side now to see the template, so I guide you through a little bit. but I will actually turn myself a little bit to the side so we have a bit more space to put it somewhere here. All right, so this new thing over here is actually pretty simple, you know. Just imagine that this over here is the sheet you get as a link to my video. And to the top left side, and you can see this is just a title. We give the title, by whom it is, I'm the author of this one then, and you have the date when it's done. Very important for online sources, the date is pretty significant because sometimes stuff might have changed, sometimes links expire or whatever, so you always have the evidence when it has been done to perfectly, you know, compare that to stuff like that. And then here's the thing, because I think there has to be a different structure, I started to separate the general overview and the detailed information from each other. The reason why I do this is because usually, as you also might do it, or as I do it all the time, I just jump into a topic and I want to get a generic general overview. So I'm going to go into Wikipedia, for example. I watch YouTube videos mainly with the target to get an idea of the topic for myself first, before I then can dive deeper into certain aspects of the overall topic. Now, this is what I've done here. To the left-hand side, you just have a very generic overview. I drop down all the links down here. You've got the description to the left and you've got a comment to the right. One example could be, description over here is topic SpaceX, Raptor engine, overview Wikipedia, note, just a very first brief comment, whatever, you know, look. So you guys exactly know what this source is going to provide you. So in case, to stick with the Raptor engine example, there's one part about the Raptor engine that you haven't understood. Let's say something about the pressurization in the combustion engine or whatever. And there's specifically this topic B given in here. So you don't have to click through all of these links or whatever. You just go here, topic B, and this is the pressurization of, let's say, the engine. And then you see blah, 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 note, this upper top is about the fluids, liquid fluids or whatever, and this is about the used materials. Just as an example, okay? So you just get an idea of what I mean. So if you just really took these two as an example, you can easily just click those two links and you are exactly in there where I have taken the sources from and the evidence. So you can just jump in, see if it's right or not. Done, okay? Done. If there is something specific, and that's the next advantage of the system, about this problem, you can just comment that down below and give me this detailed information, topic, blah, 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 link to, boom, I know it, you know? You can even tell me the exact figure or the exact location in the spreadsheet, by the way, but that's too easy, okay? Anyways, and then there is another topic I always figure. Very often at work, I have the problem that we're looking for certain numbers. And then you go to YouTube and I cannot tell you how many times I found the numbers that we needed on YouTube. And I didn't find the evidence for that. So it's a YouTube video. So you either go with it or you don't. And depending on how serious the YouTube channel is, sometimes you can take that, sometimes you can't. But that's something we need to talk about in a couple of minutes. First of all, I think it's very important if you have facts and figures, and we're really talking about how many inhabitants has Germany. 83.5 million. Okay, where do you get this info from? In this case, I don't have the source, it's just my basic knowledge. It might be more or less, but you know, I could now go in and search like German statistic, Bundesamt, and then put that here, put in here, and it's very important, just a number so you have an idea what that is, note, boom, that's it. Last topic over here. This is the critical remarks, and this is something I'm completely missing out on YouTube. I've seen 2 or 3 examples in the past. I can't remember which channels these were, but they had this somehow as a disclaimer in the video, which I loved already, but there is something else about it. This is, you know, we are all not perfect. I'm not perfect. I will make mistakes in this video. I will make mistakes in the next video. I will make mistakes in every video. You will, everyone will, okay? And it's totally fine. But if it is about a certain evidence you give in a video and you're not really certain about it, just say it, okay? You don't need to not use it. If you think it is making a point to what you want to translate or to transport to the people, fine, hey, take it. But let the people know that this might be something critical because XYZ, okay? There might be something about this source not proved yet or not proven yet because it's too new or whatever, or it's just like work in progress. You never know, okay? So there might be many things that could lead to why it is a critic point to take in. But anyways, give the people an idea why. That's it. That's all I have to say. Just give them an idea. And then you are in a position as a viewer, as someone who wants to drag out some information, you can just click that link. An important bit is, once this is settled, I will always use this cheat just to make sure that there is also something to compare, you know, something to get used to. So every video you do this will become more learned and easier to use for you. So in the future, you see a video, oh, you can see, okay, there are 3 or 4 nice information I want to have. Jump in there, click, 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 open exactly the ones you have, copy them in, done. Okay, easy as you go. And really hope that this is something you guys would appreciate as well. I will start using that maybe in the next video already. I'm not sure if I will do this because obviously, and that's the downside of stuff like that, it takes a lot of time. Not gonna lie, that takes time. You have to fill them all in, you have to type these little descriptives and so on. But what I learned, because I've already started using that for one video, at least one I'm working on right now, it actually helps you building out the story anyway. So actually I have to copy these, you know, either way I'm putting them all as a long list of links into my video or not, but I have to copy them somewhere. And if I put them in here, it's pretty easy for me to draw a little description and take a note down here and just sort them. It's a little bit more work. Yes, it's not that much more work. Fine. I have to do it anyways, so that's good. Anyways, okay, that's about the template. Again, please let me know in the comments down below, just down there, okay, what you think about this structure. If there's anything you're missing, let me know. If you think there's something I can change, let me know. If you have something to say about the graphics, by the way, I'm making that look a lot more nice. It's just like work in progress. Just note that, okay? Feel free to say it if you have an idea. I'm very much very curious to hear what you guys say. And I know it's a dry topic, but I really hope that those people who are interested are still listening and give me the feedback. And if it's 10 comments, it's 10 comments, and that's fine, okay? But now we got to go into a bit more of a future outlook, okay? So we are going now into the kind of speculation area, and we're going into something that I am thinking about a lot. Why? I don't know. I really don't know. But I think we are at a point in time and also with an urge to change something major about how technology is providing certain informations. Now, I know that information is very critical when it comes to how good or bad it is, because it is sometimes, if not often, very subjective. So, see, many people say that certain YouTubers are very relevant and they're a good source because they became somewhat serious and believable and trustworthy over time. But that doesn't free them from the fact that they also could use wrong sources. And I think it's not against them, not at all. I think it is very fair to say that after a while people become a serious source themselves because they have proven to be trustworthy. You have to give them also the tools to help making them more trustworthy. Because if YouTube, for example, and that's where I'm really wanting to go, if YouTube, for example, would offer a system to integrate sources into your video in the description, in the tools themselves, not just copying it, but really have like a source tool where you could potentially put it even in the specific stamps in the video. I mean, you could do something. I've seen that. It is horrible. Don't do this, people. Don't use the timestamps for sources. Never do this, please. That just, no. It's a good idea. I've thought about that as well, but nope. Nope. That's not what the timestamps are meant for. It's horrible to watch. It's really destroying the overall user experience. Just don't, okay? But I think it would be nice to have a certain system that allows you to integrate those sources and manage them in a way that this could be reused with other programs like Excel, like whatever, Citavi, like Notes, I don't know, you name it, but with scientific programs. That would be amazing, because if you have this little interference in there, if you have this potential to connect those things, it's going to make so much easier also for the news agencies and just in general for the news and media, because they could easily draw the sources and stuff from there. And I think it really has to become an addition to those social media platforms in the future to get the facts in. before you are allowed to put out the facts. I mean, we had such a big deal with fake news recently because obviously we are human. We will go into psychology a lot on this channel, but if you think about it, humans in general are, I don't want to say evil, but the bad things are always having a higher impact towards us than the good things, which is just a natural thing to happen. And the problem is, and I think this is something, I don't remember the quote correctly, but I think Mark Zuckerberg once said that that what happens in the close neighborhood to you is way more important to you than potentially what would happen in some other countries on another continent, simply because it's not important for you at this point. So this makes you become living in a bubble yourself, which is something we are going to talk about as a certain topic. I've got a video on this planned and already started to build on it, which is going to call it like the filter bubble, but that's something completely different. But it's important to understand. Now, the only way to branch out of this bubble is to have something we can agree on. And if the structure, how to bring in facts to certain media is the agreement, I'm fine with it. We only have to find one. It's just something I'm really, 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 really interested in to learn in the future. And I'm also very, I don't even know how to phrase it, because I really feel the urge to do something with it also in the future, because as much as I love social media being quick and easy, and I'll love it to stay that way, I hate the fact that, you know, fake news and conspiracy theories can be shared so rapidly over this, and sometimes, not always, sometimes it could have been easily prevented by just having the chance to bring in a fact check rather quickly. And now let's jump a little bit further ahead in time, in the not close future, but maybe in 10 to 15 to 20 years, if artificial intelligence and machine learning is getting even better. I think, and maybe it's way quicker than what I just said, by the way, but I think it is even more important that these systems become more automatically searching for facts in what you say and give a double check. I want to be able to record a video and have YouTube tell me what I told and check it. That sounds strange, maybe, I know, but YouTube does listen anyways, because they have a system to prevent from racism and to prevent from other stuff like, you know, just heavy patriotism or whatever. They have a lot of stuff in the algorithm that is actually analyzing the videos. And if I would be sitting here and using a lot of bad words and a lot of, let's say, racist stuff and so on, YouTube would actually notice that, because they push the whole video through their wonderful rendering software, which is also going to analyze what you say, and then they would basically downvote your video, or even in the worst case, give you a warning. So if that works already, and if this system is going to be approved because of the quadrillion, million, billion, whatever bits of data you get every single day, maybe they will get into a position where they can analyze the stuff you say in such a good and intelligent way to understand and double check your facts. I mean, even better would be if it gives you the facts you need, and if you say something it's even going to correct you. That would be the most amazing thing ever. So in a perfect world, I would upload a video, and then I can automatically do a fact check of my own video, and it's giving me all the facts I need. I just have to approve that this is exactly what I say, and here we go. That's good to go. It's almost like with the automatic subtitle feature. You know, on YouTube there is an automatic subtitle feature where you can just simply click and it analyzes what you say, and it gives you all the text you said, and you can just jump in and do the little corrections yourself if you figure there's something that wasn't listened to correctly. So that would be a pretty easy thing, and I think technology-wise, we're not that far off. I think it's kind of a bit of a data security issue here. I do see that. And also you have to somehow get the links together to get these scientific approved websites to, you know, allow Google to to grab their data. You know what I mean? I just, like, you have to allow them to search for certain sources and pull them back into the YouTube system in order to make the system work. I know there are kind of a lot of barriers, but I said in a perfect world, that would be how it is. So this way, you would still have freedom of speech, you know, and you can sit there and just say something what you want, But if the fact is telling something different, at least the people out there get the notification that it is, they can still believe you. Why not? I mean, if I go outside and it's raining and I'm standing there and I say, hey, it's super sunny, let's go out for a walk, you can choose. You can obviously stay inside because you see it's raining, and because rain is wet and it's falling down the sky, you see it, you get the notification there is rain, but you can still come out with me, either because you love rain or because you just want to believe it's not raining. Whatever, there is not only the freedom of speech, but also the freedom of will. That's another thing. But I think it's very important to really also think ahead into the future. What is going on with these platforms and how to structure evidence, sources, facts in a way that not only the creator but also the viewers benefit from it. And I think this is a very good point to end the video. I really hope you guys found this little talk about the sources, evidence and facts interesting. I know it is a super dry topic. I also would love to not talk too much about it anymore, but I wanted to give you the evidence about this already. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know in the comments down below again what you think about the fact sheet, and if you have something else to say about this topic of sources, evidence, fake news, and if you have some stories that you want to share about this already, please feel free to do so. We might discuss this in a future video, but otherwise this is it. I hope you guys stay safe everyone, and I talk to you in the next one.